Hi, dear friends. Yesterday that video was cut off because I'm trying to work on my new little camera for my vlogging and everything. And what I thought I would do is and I don't know where this is coming from. Well, actually, I do know where this is coming from. I just feel like, and yes, I have been really, really crying. And I don't know where else to turn, you guys. And I feel so vulnerable, and I don't like feeling like that. But I just don't know what else to do. And so, and this is in regards to Sawyer's death and the impending things that are happening in regards to this. And I want people to know, I just need to share my truth because I don't know where else to go. I don't know how else to do it. I mean, I've tried to express things, and I've tried to be so understanding about when I had my divorce with my ex-husband. And I never told a lot of things. A couple of friends know the personal things that happened. And people that knew my life, like, really closely knew the kind of, relationship that I had and the reason that I left the marriage and everything. And it was a very disheartening thing for me because I felt like all my church friends, everybody in the community, my ex-husband had the backup of all these people that he's known, that they see what he portrays to them and they believe it, which I understand. The people that believe him over me are not those are not my people anyway. And he has completely gone on and he has bashed me in the media, like on social media and things of that nature. He has told people lies all about me that were never true. The reason that I left him was because he had been having an affair on me for years since we first got married. And I have proof, I have proof, and I don't want to get graphic, but you can figure that out as much as you want to. He made everybody seem like I was the one that had the affair and ran away. And that wasn't true either. And the whole thing that is coming to the floodgates is like, he would tell people like all the time that he did it with diet and exercise, that he lost weight because it's all in your mind stuff, and he didn't. He was unemployed, and this is before he got his job in California, and he completely went to Orlando right before we moved to California and spent $17,000 of our saved up money that I saved for us in a hidden account so that we could live on it. That's because I was good with money. But he made everybody seem like I was horrible with money, and he went and spent $17,000 on an operation so that he could be skinny. And he tells everybody that it was because of diet and exercise, and that's not true. And I would always tell him, you need to be honest with people, because when they find out you lie to them about so many things, they're not going to ever trust you again. And so I tried to just completely eliminate my life from him. But when he started to do this with Sawyer's death, and he has every single day I learn of something else that he has done, it's like it makes you understand why people don't feel like they have a voice, and they don't feel like they feel powerless. And if I said anything on social media, he would have me banned. And I tried to be understanding. I've tried so hard, and I just can't take it anymore. You guys, I don't know where else to go besides on YouTube. My mom called me this morning, and this is what kind of it started spiraling, and I haven't said anything on social media except for like the people that were asking me about the GoFund account. And I didn't even know. I didn't even think about a GoFundMe account. That's because I was paying attention to my son had just been murdered. And so then all these people, because he has that, because we lived in Oklahoma, He had just moved from there. Mind you, he got fired. That was the third job he got fired from because he was disgruntled to women and he was drinking on the job. This is the real reason that my ex-husband, and you know who he is, I will tag him in this video, that is the reason that he has lost all of his jobs in the future. And people that went to his GoFundMe account, which was supposed to be for our entire family, which I never saw a penny of, not one penny. And you guys donated to an account when it was supposed to be for my son and all of his things. And I asked nicely, and he did it to where he put it in our children's account. But you know how like when you do that, you can also have access to pull the money yourself? That's what he did. He did it so he said, this is the exact words he said to me, because you have done this, and because I am going to make you pay for it for the rest of your life. He is actually still doing that. And so what happened was, the reason that I became unglued was because this morning my mother called me and told me that was coming to Florida to bring the kids down, right? So originally, you guys, we had planned. This is the only way that I know how to get my voice heard, because there's nothing that he can do, because if I don't say his name, there's nothing he can do legally, right? I'm thinking, please, attorneys, help me on this. So come what may, I end up wanting to go to Oklahoma to get the things, right? Well, my ex-husband would not give me the money out of his account. His friend was going to buy the ticket because he didn't have the money. And so that's how he was able to get his friend. And they all flew out. He flew his sister out, and they had a big birthday party at a R&B or whatever you call those beautiful hotels or whatever. And who do you think is fronting the money? The GoFundMe account. That's what you guys paid for a big memorial service where all of my husband's friends are going to come down. He actually sent invitations. This is not a party. This is a memorial. And so my mother tells me that he is doing this weekend. And he's going to visit my parents and bring the children. Now, this is another way of a narcissist using leverage to try and make me look bad. Here's the truth of the matter, you guys. And I know as much as God loves, so let me just preface that. I understand that I am not in alignment right now. I'm not claiming to be in alignment. I'm not claiming to love as God loves right now, because I wouldn't be saying all of this. However, I am sharing my story because there may be some other woman out there that has gotten out of an abusive, like mentally, psychological abused relationship that no one freaking believes us. They make us look like we're the crazy ones, that we had a meltdown. That's what I was told. You had a mental meltdown. You were going through some kind of midlife crisis. You were doing all of these things, and they will completely do everything that they can to make you look like you're the crazy one. Okay? So then what he does is he's going to manipulate the situation with my parents, because he's using the children as leverage, right? He has access to paying for their, cell phones and paying for their bills and some of their insurance policies and things of that nature. That's why the kids feel subjected to him. So he uses that as a manipulation tool to keep them on his side. And then he completely gives them information that's not true about me, in a perceived notion that is subjective and it's not real. And so what happened was my mom called me and said that, okay, not only that the GoFundMe, and this wasn't about the money. This was never about the money. This was about paying for my son's cremation services. We wanted to have a little memorial, but that's not going to cost that much money. And my ex-husband raised a lot of money. And not only that, the disgusting part was that, you know how like you put the donation, like the estimated, what you want the campaign to get to, right? Okay, who goes in and changes it and ups it every couple of days besides someone that is a little bit shady? He upped the amount for the campaign to try and get as much money as he could. And you guys, all of you people, I feel so bad for you because you went and put money on my ex-husband's GoFundMe for the family, and that's not what it was used for. None of it was used for that. I wanted to put some of that money down on Sawyer's outstanding bills, outstanding, the things that they don't just, expunge or whatever, like when someone is murdered or dies, because, they would have to take the truck back, which I wanted the truck, and I made a big, I got on that flight as soon as my friend gave me those tickets so that I could get there, because he said, no, we're going to see what happens. The ex said that. And I knew that he was going to take advantage of the situation again. And so anyway, then come to find out this morning, I don't know when it happened, but he deleted and closed out the campaign. So obviously I have no access to that. You know what I'm saying? Because he put it in our kids' names so that he was talking about, I use tactics or something. That was his words. I'm going to use tactics. You're not on the up and up, Raquel. I am, or whatever. So maybe that's, in a sense, he's saying that he's making a way for him to get away with it. And the other thing and I know this is drama from an ex and all that kind of stuff, but the thing that I feel so important to speak about is the fact that I understand why women, first of all, I'm not saying that anything that you do as a woman is acceptable. You know what I'm saying? You don't go and get revenge on somebody. The only way that I feel like I can get revenge is to talk about it on this video, and then maybe somebody will make this thing go viral, because every time I have ever done anything, he has always blocked it. He has always used his leverage in television or whatever, access to certain people he knows, to shut me down. And the other thing that he has done that has been the it's not icing on the freaking cake, it's the freaking poison in the cake that you have no idea that you're eating, that you're about to freaking die. Food poisoning, okay? Is that my ex-husband had the worst relationship. And any of you guys that know us deeply, which not a lot of people do, but the true people that know that my ex-husband did not like my son, Sawyer. My ex-husband discounted him, left him out of things as a family, always would do things for the other children, financially give them money, take care of bills, buy them vehicles. He would never do that with my son Sawyer. He excluded him out of pictures, family pictures. He would take pictures. We would go on a family trip or whatever, and he would take pictures of everybody else, but not take pictures of Sawyer. He would, fight with him, hold him down, he practically disowned Sawyer. He did not have a good relationship with Sawyer. And Sawyer always cried to me. That's why half the time Sawyer took drugs at one point in his life. He was addicted to drugs because his dad was so mean to him. And I was in this relationship and I didn't realize it until I was out. Right? I didn't understand. It's when you're an abused person, people go, why didn't you just leave? Why didn't you just leave? And it's when you're not being well, he takes care of you. You should be grateful for that. You have food on the table. At least he doesn't beat you. And he didn't beat me until the end. And so that's the thing, is you don't realize the kind of dysfunctional relationship that you're in, or marriage, until you're out of it. And then you understand, oh my gosh, then you can clearly see it when you're clear and level-headed. But I understand women that are in relationships like this, because that's the only thing you know. And especially if you come from a childhood that was abusive in itself, that's the only natural thing for you to understand. You think someone hitting you is love. You think someone treating you with disrespect and always being the brunt of a joke, or being disrespectful to you behind closed doors, or screaming down to you, or just verbally abusive and just mind screwing with you. You know what I mean? Like making things, they make you feel like you are crazy when you're not. And it's like, how often, like, I feel so bad for women because I can see, like, I can see it now very clearly from the outside. And it's like, I didn't grow up with that kind of mentality as far as like when Sawyer passed, you know, like that was the last thing in my mind, was to think about, you know, going to get his checkbook because he might have money in there, or wanting to be the executor because there was a lot of cash left over when he was murdered that's still now being held by the investigators. But why you would do that as that's your motive? Like, I haven't even had time to like process anything, and now I'm having to deal with that. And I don't want you to think that I'm a victim. I'm not trying to be a victim. I just need for my story to be told, because I think this happens so much, and there's not other women out there that have a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Don't have a blog. They can't speak what their truth is, and I just can't take holding the truth back anymore. I can't do it. And I seem like I may be cracking, but I just can't take one more day of my ex-husband doing something to, and I can't even grieve my own child because I feel like I'm having to contend with this. Now I'm going to have to get an attorney because I have to file a probate, and then you got to pay all this money, and I don't still have any money for my son. And I'm not pleading for money. Don't want you to think that at all. That is not what I'm trying to do. My point is trying to share my story, because I know there's women out there that have dealt with this over and over again, and I just want you to know that you are not alone, and that to speak your truth. I mean, and maybe that's taken me this long to do this, you guys, and maybe this is what I have needed to do, because I felt powerless as much as I have went on with my life. And I am so happy that I feel like any opportunity for that poison to get into my life is just causing me grief, and I just don't need it. You know what I mean? And so I guess the thing is once you feel like a victim, the next thing is not to feel like a victim. Like if you're living in the law of attraction, you know, Abraham always talks about the fact that if you come in a victim type mode, like nobody will help you, nobody's going to hear you. Even if you had all of the people and the perfect people set up to be in your corner, they are going to sense this neediness and this victimhood in you, and they will not help. They won't say anything. They won't speak their mind. They won't give an opinion, because you are in a state of feeling powerless. And that's not in alignment, right? But I honestly feel like as I'm talking through this video that it is empowering me, and it is giving me a voice, and it is helping me to realize that I am tired of covering for people. I no longer cover for my husband, Jeffrey, and I will never cover for him. And that's one thing that I learned. But I don't know what caused, and I don't know if it's because I'm at a vulnerable state right now because my son was just murdered. That's why I have felt like I just don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with that. I don't have time to deal with that. What would Sawyer want me to do? And it's like, you know what? Sawyer would want me to share my story. And not in a mean, vindictive way, but just the truth. Because Sawyer even told me, and this cut off yesterday on the video, but Sawyer even told me 2 months, and this was amazing. We were talking on the phone. And like I said, and even in my blog post, I've said this, me and Sawyer were like tight. Like he was the only one of my children that never, of my 4 children, that never left my side even after the divorce. Like he still called me. He still came and visit me. He still talked to me on the phone. He still texted me. He still sent me gifts. We still had the same relationship. And And I think that's why it's been so hard for me, because I know the truth. Like, I know, and like I said, Sawyer had talked to me on the phone, and this was 2 months before, and had I known, I had no idea. But he said to me, you know, he's like, Mommy, he goes, I want to be famous. I want to be famous, you know, because of his music and everything. And he was just starting to do really well. He was getting the, you know, the notoriety of like Billy the Kid. I think, is it Billy the Kid? Anyway, that rapper was also murdered in May last month. And Sawyer was like, he did a collaboration with him, and the guy loved Sawyer, and so I knew that he would. I mean, I thought for sure he was going to be famous, and he would always say, I want to be more famous, you know, than, you know, I want to be more famous than my dad. And I know that he did that, and it was probably because he wanted to feel that maybe then he would be accepted, because he never felt accepted from his father, you know. And then he said, you know, Mama, if something ever happens to me, if I ever die, you know, before you do, Mama, he's like, you know what I think will happen? I think the people that didn't really care about me or really love me like they say, like you would expect for them to, like he said, Mama, they're going to try to use my name as leverage to say they were all about me, to say that I was this great light in their life or whatever, and they never gave two craps about me. And he's like, you know what? I predict that will happen. And I mean to tell you, you guys, and when I said that yesterday, it cut off, and I didn't put the rest of the video because I'm still trying to learn the new camera and everything. But this is my grandmother's nightgown, and I still wear it. But anyway, yeah, that's why it has holes, and if you see that. But it just makes me so self-aware that my son knew so much more about life than I ever did, and I'm 47, and he was only 24 years old, and he had such a good picture of it, you know. And I know Sawyer would be saying, Mama, it's not important, you know the truth. I know all of that stuff, you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do know it doesn't mean anything. In the end, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's never been about the money for me. I mean, because I have all the memories. I have all of the love and the relationship that no one can ever take from me, you know? And so the only way that I can be hurt, I guess, is the money aspect of it. And it's like, if anything, that's what I want, is for Sawyer's story. You know, the child, he doesn't have a voice anymore. And I want the voice that I know Sawyer would want for everyone to know. And that is that not everybody that you see in the media or in our family was all about Sawyer. They were actually not about Sawyer. They actually pushed him aside. In church, people told him he was banned from coming to church meetings. He was always kicked aside and cast out. And so anybody that is dealing with a child that people look upon as, you know, he has tattoos on his neck. Oh my gosh, he has a piercing in his lip. Oh, or in his eyebrow. Oh, he listens to that music and it's inappropriate. You know what? Keep loving that child unconditionally, because we live in a conditional world. And so many people do this to our children. They do this to our beautiful children because they don't know how to love unconditionally. They don't know how to love without a condition being placed. If you look appropriate, then I'll love you. And then you can come to this dinner where everyone is. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what Sawyer was treated like. And if there's any regrets at all that I have about that, is that I didn't get out sooner. But I can't live in regrets. I just have to remember, this is the only thing I can do, you guys. This is the only thing that I know I can do, because now Sawyer is gone. And I only have those stories, those moments that he told me and cried and confessed to me was suicidal at times because he just didn't feel love except for by me and his best friend Ryan. And I understand that. Like, my mother was very good to Sawyer. Sawyer lived with her for twice, you know, and my mother loved, you know, and my parents loved Sawyer unconditionally. You know, they let Sawyer live with them when my ex-husband wouldn't let Sawyer live in our home. And that was disempowering for me as a wife, you know, as a mother. And like I said, I don't want this to sound like it's coming off like, oh, she's a victim or whatever. That's not, I hope you guys know who I am. You guys know who I am. I've been on here for close to 6 years, and I feel like you understand that I'm a very emotional, and I go from highs and lows, and I think that that's normal. You know, our feelings that like we'll be really angry in one moment and really sad in another, and really like rambunctious and hyper in another. And I think that that's normal. But so many times people want to put these you know, they want to put us in a box. And I always used to say, me and Sawyer, we're triangles. We're not boxes. You can't put us, we're a triangle, so you can't put us in a square box. And that is difficult for people that don't know how to control thought. They don't know how to control their environment. Like, the biggest thing you will find is that when somebody that's a control freak, you know, that means that there's a lot of people that are control freaks. A lot of people actually say, I'm a control freak, like it's a good thing, right? And it can be a good thing when you can control thought, right? But most of the time, the way humans live is controlling conditions. Like, I'm gonna do this because it's like a movable part. And so I'm going to get into some personal, like deep personal development stuff, right? So think about the fact that if I had like, okay, I have this shoe, okay? I can't find my watch or anything like that. I don't really wear a watch, so that's probably why. But a shoe is a thing, right? But how often do humans use things in place of a human? Because you can move a shoe around. You can throw or toss a shoe out. You can do whatever you want to change that condition if you don't want that shoe, right, in your vicinity. You don't want to have to deal with it. Like, say, for instance, you have a drug addict child, and you don't want to have to deal with that. Now, there's certain stipulations on this, like that would be diving a lot deeper into that. But what I'm talking about is for the main, like the surface of this as far as controlling, is that when people can't control their environment, they start to lose their ever-living mind. You have to be able to get to the point that you are so focused and aligned with your thought that no matter the condition, you know, you drive down a road that's sketchy in the neighborhood, and you have to be able to keep your mind so controlled and in alignment that regardless of where you are, you could be in a real ritzy neighborhood, but your alignment still remains the same because you don't allow environment to overcome you. Do you see what I'm saying? But a lot of humans can't handle that because they live in a conditional world. Most humans live in a world to where it's like, let me run away from that and it's going to get better. Now, sometimes it will, but most often you take yourself with you. So that's why a lot of times when people are in relationships, in marriages, if you don't get your shit straight first, you're going to find the exact replica. That's why I didn't want to find an exact replica of my ex-husband. I said, no, I have to learn to love myself and put myself first before any man, any child, any priest, any bishop, any person. It's me and God, source, right? You have to put yourself first, or else you will fall back into that trap, especially women that are in relationships that have been abused. You will find another husband. He may have a different face, you might be a different career, drives a different vehicle, has different, a situation. He might be in Timbuktu. But guess what? Come to find out, it's going to be the exact same thing you left before if you didn't get yourself right first and get in alignment. And this is all basically, I guess this is once again turned out to be about healing, about us finding that self-preservation of love for ourselves, right? Ladies, gents. But I just wanted you to know that this is a portion of my story. And I didn't say names because hopefully that is going to be able to protect me from lawsuits, things of that nature. Because when you're dealing with somebody that is unstable, they will do anything to try and trap you. And so it's understandable why women feel so beaten down. And I just want to be here to be your cheerleader, to know that you may be in a relationship like this, or you may have had a relationship like that, or you may realize that you're just now, oh my gosh, I'm getting back into a relationship like this. And to get out. And I know it's hard, but don't tell me about hard, because I left with nothing, okay? My ex-husband at one time we were on the upper, of wealth, you know? And I left with 2 suitcases. 2 suitcases. So don't tell me you can't do it. You can find a way. You will do it if you trust in yourself, believe in yourself, and know that there is nothing you can't handle. And I know I can handle this, and you guys have been there for me, and thank you for listening to this 35, 40-minute rambling session. But actually rambling, I shouldn't say that. You know, I should give myself a little bit more credit, because, like, look, this is my own therapy. Like, do you guys do that too? Like, you'll talk to yourself, or like if you live on a farm or something, like the only people around most of the time, like if you're driving 30 minutes in to go get groceries and stuff at the market, the most people you're around are not even people, is that you're animals, you know? And so I'm sitting there talking to my animals, and that's how I come up with my beautiful little stories, you know? And even my story about Sawyer, which I'm going to dedicate to Sawyer. But it's about bullying, and it's about feeling different. And I'm just so excited. I feel like I have such inspiration from Sawyer about this book, because I mean, I would love to get a publishing company, you know, to publish the book, because I think it would be a wonderful way for me to, you know, share his legacy. But I'm going to just go ahead and self-publish it, you know, because I've done that before, and I know how to do it, and so I'm going to do that. But what was I saying, you guys? Oh, about talking about, like, you talk to yourselves and then you answer your own questions. Do you guys do that too? I hope you do, because I know I've talked to my mom and like a couple of friends and stuff, and they've even said, yes, of course I do that. I talk to myself and I answer my own questions and I figure out my own problems, you know? So maybe that's sort of what I'm doing here, but also in an aspect to where I want to put it on YouTube, so that in case someone feels inspired or led to watch this video, that you don't feel alone, that you don't feel like no one understands you, because I do. I really understand you, and I love you unconditionally. Like, I honestly love you unconditionally, and I just want to share my story for those people, or especially for women that feel that they don't have a voice, because it's difficult to gain your voice after you've been in relationships. I mean, look, you guys, it took me 25 years, and I had known the person for 30. So I had met the person when I was 14 years old. And so basically what happens is, like, people have asked me, what took you so long to get out of that relationship? And I think the thing is that it's the atypical thing you hear about women, that they come from a dysfunctional home already, right? They get you young. You know what I'm saying? They get you young, because I was 14. So when you're going from one dysfunctional relationship, and then you have all these dysfunctions like lacking daddy love and all of those kind of issues, you're going to do that. You're just going to naturally go into that new relationship expecting those type of things, because that's normality for you. And so don't be so hard on somebody if you're like, yeah, they've been in that marriage for 50 years and they're still in that dysfunctional relationship. Sometimes it takes people longer. It took me 25 years to leave the marriage, you know? And so don't be hard on people, because honestly, you don't know the shoes that they've been put in. You know what I'm saying? You don't. It's like, have sympathy or empathy, or if you don't and you just don't like the person, just move on, you know? Don't give any attention to them. But the fact of the matter is, like I'm saying, like, it sounds like a lot of times people say, oh, that's her karma, because I don't like her anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that really has nothing to do with me. Like, people that, like, women on social media that don't like me and have blocked me and think that I'm a vile person and that I'm this or that or whatever, like, I don't care. I, honest to God, don't care about them. I don't even give them energy. Because that's the worst thing that you can do, is to give somebody energy that despises you. Why would you waste your time on that? And not like in a way that it's not inwardly looking at yourself, okay? That doesn't mean like, if you don't like me, you're not on my team, then you're the loser. No, that's not what I'm talking about. If there is a substantial reason that I'm like, okay, this person didn't like me because of this person didn't like me because of this, and come to find out this person didn't like me because of this, I might need to look. There's a common denominator, Raquel, and that denominator is you. So, of course, I'm going to be self-evaluating. I'm going to look at myself and go, maybe I'm not so good at that. Maybe I need to work on that. But that doesn't mean you have to go and undig all of those old relationships or make amends or do any of that stuff. Just change it, create a new belief system, and carry on. Because that's the problem with people. They keep holding on to the past, holding on to the future. They never live their lives because they're waiting for that big day in the sun when this is going to happen to them. Or they're holding on to bullshit in the past that does no good but keep you in a state of non-growth, right? So let's live in the now, okay? I'm going to figure this out. I don't know how the hell I'm going to figure it out, you guys, but I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to carry you along with this journey. I hate the word journey, don't you? Oh, I'm on a spiritual journey. I know it sounds so like law of attraction cliche, like it's spirituality, dude. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that one redhead. He's a comedian, but he always makes fun of the spirituality world. Oh my gosh, I should find his link because he's so hilarious. He wears the headband. Anyway, he's really funny. He goes viral a lot, so I know you guys probably know who I'm talking about. Anyway, the point is that I want you to come along on this voyage with me, and let's see where it goes. Let's see where it takes me. Let's see where it takes you. I mean, I'm just as excited about your lives as I am about my own life. Honest to goodness. I find such happiness in seeing women excel and do well and become powerful and in control of their life and very, and still remaining these delicate, darling little flowers. And I still have that beautiful old-fashioned, rapport about me of loving that, I'm genteel and want my beastly husband to take up for me. I have those dreams, and I feel like I'm living those dreams with Jeffrey. And so it can all be good. And it doesn't mean that all men are horrible, because I would never want that to be something that somebody gathered from my video. Because absolutely, I love men more than I care to admit. I think they're wonderful and lovely and masculine and rugged and distinguished and just beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous. I love men. And not in that way, but you know what I'm saying. No, but what I mean is, this isn't like this feminist role. And no, I mean, all power to feminists, cut your hair short and be that person you want to be. I'm all for it. Wear pants everywhere you want to go, or look like Colette in Colette, right? Where she starts wearing, masculine suits and stuff in the Victorian era. Have you guys ever watched that movie, that dramatic series? It's about, oh my gosh, it's the best movie, you guys. You need to watch it if you like period dramas and stuff. And it's based on that real writer, Colette, that her husband, she basically married, she was so in love with this guy. Isn't that like really like full circle or something, that I watched that on the plane coming home? Anyway, not on the plane coming home because I drove, but I watched it, the rest of it, last night, but I had started it on the airplane going out to Oklahoma. But it was about this guy, and he couldn't write, so he used his wife and used all of her books, but took credit for it. Oh my God, that is like so weird, like the universe telling me something. Isn't that odd, you guys? But anyway, yeah, and so, but it was really, really good. Like, anyway, she ended up like, Heather McDonald talks about, like on Juicy Scoop, that Colette became a late in life lesbian. Like she always talks about that, like late in life lesbians, and I think that's what Colette did on this movie. But you guys should look it up. It's called Colette, and it takes place in the Victorian era, and it's based on a true story about that author. And so I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. But anyway, the whole point is, I think I shared with you all the points, and I hope that you gathered something from this video. I certainly hope that you share it on your social media networks. And just because I want the truth to be told, and I want for people to understand what it's like when you lose a child. Maybe this is the only video, the free video of YouTube, that a mother is going through this too somewhere else in the world, you know, and how to deal with it. And I'm not saying I'm doing the perfect job. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just documenting this because I feel like it may help someone. And I always want to teach and I want to help any way that I can. And so this is the only way that I can. So me talking. And the other thing I was going to say about rambling is that the reason I don't want to call it rambling anymore, so you guys think of like the sophisticated Victorian word that would be like really, really perfect. Instead of rambling, because when I'm rambling, the definition of rambling means that you're talking a lot about something that's insignificant. And I don't like that because I feel like everything that I'm talking about, I am talking a lot, but it's not insignificant. It's very significant. It's very serious and very deep and thought-provoking. Don't you agree? And so I want to come up with another word of that. So all you little English teachers or, you know, word wizards, get on that for me. I've been looking it up. I even have a Victorian dictionary, but I haven't been able to find a word that means talkative, but talkative about a serious subject. So would you guys help me with that? I've been looking and researching since yesterday trying to find a word for that. Anyway, I love you so much. Thank you for stopping by or swimming by. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Most affably yours until my next swim. Ciao!